Yo, what is good YouTube? I am Rich Kim, and today I'm going to be bringing you all the performance review on the Nike Mamba Focus. Before we get started, if you all enjoy sneaker content just like this, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below. But anyways, let's get right into it. As always, starting off with the traction, the Nike Mamba Focus has a Mamba inspired traction pattern. So to me, these kind of look like snake scales almost. And you know, the traction was really bad at first, and even after breaking it in, it's still not the best. I would say on your cleaner courts, you guys really shouldn't have too many problems. I was sliding a little bit here and there, but then if you guys are playing on your average to duskier courts, you're gonna have a little bit of problems because you're gonna be slipping. This traction, although it doesn't really have like super tight grooves, does stick to the traction, so you are going to have to wipe in order to maintain any sort of traction. As far as indoor use goes, I'd say the traction is okay at best. Outdoors, I don't know because I never tried these outdoors, but I feel like outdoors, these should be pretty good, especially because the rubber is pretty hard, so I feel like durability wise, you know, it's really good and it should last outdoors just fine. So yeah, overall traction wasn't the best, it's just okay. I mean, you know, I wish it was better and it looked like it was going to be a beastly performer, but it is what it is. So moving on to the cushion, Nike really doesn't state what kind of cushion they use for the midsole. So, you know, because of that, I'm going to assume that this is a Phylon, and I'm pretty sure it's a Phylon because it feels very similar to Phylon, at least like the harder versions of it. So basically what you're getting is a very stiff cushion setup, which provides you a lot of court feel and responsiveness, but it obviously lacks that impact protection. Up in the forefoot, you do actually have a mini zoom unit, a rectangular zoom unit in the forefoot, and it does protrude out just a little bit from the outsole. So I would say that it is a bottom loaded zoom unit and you can feel it just a little bit. Honestly, you know, I would like to have felt it a lot more. You get a very minimal bounce from it, and I really wanted to feel that more. Zoom is, you know, one of my favorite cushion setups, if not the best cushion setup. And you know, you really don't get to experience Nike Zoom in the shoe. You know, for me, I really do need that impact protection. And you know, although I did feel extremely fast in the shoe, I really just wanted more impact protection, and this just doesn't have that. So moving on to the materials, I think this is by far the best part of the Mamba Focus. And the materials on the shoe are actually not that bad. It features this mesh material, or maybe like some sort of knit. But up in the toe box area, it is a very free-flowing knit or mesh or whatever material this is. And as you move towards the sides of the shoe, it does get a little bit more stiff just so you have more support, which obviously makes sense. As we move towards the tongue, it does feature this open mesh, which gives a little bit more breathability to the shoe. And on the tip of the tongue, where the Mamba logo is, this part is synthetic leather, which is just like a nice premium touch, or slightly more premium touch than, you know, everything else on the shoe. Not only that, but you do have your hits of fuse in high wear areas, such as around the toe box area and where your laces go through the shoe. Like I said before, I think the material usage is the best part of the shoe, especially because of the price point, and not just because of the performance aspect, but also the aesthetics. So when I first got these shoes in hand, they look exactly like a pair of shoes that's one of my all-time favorites. So for those of you that don't know, the Kobe 6 is my favorite shoe pretty much of like all time. It's so much fun to play in, and everything about it was just amazing. But if you all can see, the materials aesthetically look very similar. It has that snake scale pattern, except on the Kobe 6, it's actually a mesh underlay with these scales being some type of TPU that's just like put on. Whereas on the Mamba Focus, it's just stitched in and it's all the same material. So moving on to the fit of the shoe, the Mamba Focus definitely runs a little bit long and it runs really narrow. I definitely think you all should go down a half size. If you all are slightly wide footers to really wide footers, or just normal wide footers, then I would recommend just staying away from the shoe. So I went true to size, and I should have definitely gone down half size to get the correct fitting shoe. But even going true to size, aka like a half size big for me, I felt like my foot was getting choked out. I didn't really have pinching pain, but it just felt like my forefoot couldn't breathe, and I got like a cramping feeling up in my forefoot. After about an hour or so or playing in the shoe, I definitely had to take them off and let my feet breathe, because these were very uncomfortable to play in as a slightly wide footer. Outside of that, I'd say the overall fit is pretty good. Another thing to mention is there is a little bit of dead space up in the toe box area, which you can definitely notice, but it's very minimal, so it's not a deal breaker. So moving on to the support, I thought the support in the Mamba Focus was just fine. It didn't have anything spectacular, but it didn't have anything that was, really bad. In the heel, you do have this external heel counter, and this heel counter actually resembles what's featured on the Kobe 6 as well, just a little bit lower. And it does the job. It locks your heel down just fine. And also combine that with the fit of like the half booty upper, you're definitely locked into the shoe. Not only that, but I didn't have any side to side movement on the footbed. The materials do a good job of making sure your foot stays in place. And also on lateral movements, I didn't have any tippy feelings because you do have a lateral outrigger that's created by this outsole, and it's a very aggressive outrigger. Support on the Mamba Focus was just fine. So the Nike Mamba Focus retails for $100, and for $100, me personally, I wouldn't recommend playing in these just because it lacks the cushion and it lacks the traction. Two of the most important things to me in the shoe. Not to mention for me, the fit just wasn't good because I am a slightly wide footer and these ran long and I still had like that choking problem in the forefoot area. If you guys have normal feet or narrow feet and you've played in these shoes, let me know how you felt about the fit, because for me, I just couldn't do it. It was just too painful. Also, like I mentioned before, I felt like the material usage was the best part of the shoe just because of the price point, and also the lockdown and support was just fine. In my personal opinion, I would only use these shoes for outdoors just because the durability of the rubber should be really good, and I feel like it can withstand outdoor use very well. That's pretty much it for this performance review. If you all like this video, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below, and also smash that thumbs up button for me, as it really does help me out. While you guys are at it, check out this video on my left and on my right, and that's pretty much it. Till next time, peace.